let's talk about raising the rent. Now let's think about that. I've talked to several people and they say, no man, you gotta raise your rent. You gotta raise your rent. That's the way you make your money. You gotta keep up with inflation. And I get that. I understand that. But let's do some quick numbers here. Let's say that I have a tenant that's paying me $1,000 a month. They've been with me for 3 years, always pay their rent on time. So that means I'm making $12,000 a year off of that tenant. If I want to raise their rent $100, that means that I'm gonna make another $1,200, right? Easy math. Why wouldn't you do it? Well, the reason I wouldn't do it, because if I raise their rent $100 and they decide they're gonna move across the street, now I have an empty property where I lose $1,000 one month, plus I have to spend $1,000 to paint it, get it ready to go, and then bring in another tenant. So in order to make $1,200, I'm gonna have to spend $2,000. Does that math work? That doesn't compute to me. So for me, if it's a good tenant, they're paying their rent, I'm gonna leave them alone. Now, if it's a bad tenant, they pay their rent, always late, trash and debris, complaints from the neighbors, I'm gonna get every dime from that tenant. So I'm gonna raise their rent. And if they leave, I really don't care. But if they pay it, then that's a little extra money. That's just the way I look at it. Now, that being said, if I have a good tenant, the market rate is $1,200, their rent is $1,000, I may go $1,050, maybe $1,075. But I'm gonna keep it below the market because I wanna keep them in there. Because having a good tenant is a premium for me. That's my strategy. Your strategy may be different, but that's what I suggest, because ultimately you want to keep that money flowing as long as possible uninterrupted.